What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another forecast here by your meteorologist, Agent Weather Forecast, and this will be another update here on major winds from Orlena, which will bring in very heavy snow all the way from the Dakotas as far as the New England region here. So we're talking over 2,000 miles of heavy snow from the same low pressure here, all the way starting today and tonight to Groundhog Day. We're talking a major storm including New York City, including Philadelphia, Boston, Hartford, Chicago, Columbus, Ohio, even Indianapolis. We're talking very large cities as well. Even the country capital, DC, may see over half a foot of snow. We're talking well over 80 million people to get impacted by this major winter storm here, as it impacts a lot and will bring a harsh travel between now all the way to Groundhog Day. But if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, of course, and as well, if you have any questions below on this major winter storm, whether you get impacted, timing, all that, I'll cover that throughout the video. But if you still have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond to them. But without further ado, let's get in the forecast. So here's now the latest National Weather Service update here, and they have now, of course, those advisories all the way from the Dakotas as far south as North Carolina and as far north as Rhode Island. So we're seeing millions that are under some type of alert there. We got warnings here. We got two areas. We got warnings there across the Great Lakes here in Ohio, Indiana, Chicago, southern Wisconsin, and Iowa. And as well, we have a few windstorm warnings now in effect for the Mid-Atlantic, and that's where we'll be seeing very heavy snow. This actually could be quite an interesting coastal storm here, as it's low pressure. It's going to have a very weird track. Obviously, the low pressure is going to make its way all the way across this area here, and that's going to kind of like loop around here. It's going to kind of loop around the northeast, and that's going to be the reason why we'll be seeing snow for so long for areas like New York City, Allentown, and all these areas here. But right now, we have actually windstorm warnings have just been issued for Washington, D.C. here. So there you see we got those windstorm warnings now for D.C. As well as areas like Harrisburg, Charlottesville, Franklin, Lexington Park, and as well we got windstorm watches now for Baltimore, Cumberland, as well Berlin, not Berlin, Germantown, and Maryland there. And of course, we got those warnings, of course, for Chicago, Milwaukee, as well Cedar Rapids, just near the Indianapolis region there. Indianapolis, you got to just south of those windstorm warnings there. I wouldn't rule out the possibility of those warnings moving a bit more south near Indianapolis. We got winter weather advisories stretching as well into Columbus there. We got these advisories in the purples here. So if you're in an advisory, we got advisories around these warnings and watches here, and that's where we're seeing those alerts here. Of course, you got North Carolina, Virginia, you got Richmond there, even Delaware, all the way to the Appalachians near the Georgia border. As well, we got those advisories there for Madison, the Twin Cities there, Bismarck, Pierre. And of course, now we got watches in effect for the very populated area of the system here, where it'll impact. Of course, we got New York City now under a winter storm watch there, much of Long Island. You got New Haven, Bridgeport, and notice how the only watches we have are actually near the coastal areas here, because this will be a coastal event. It's going to be affecting just really the coastal areas here. Obviously, it will go far inland, but where we'll be seeing the heaviest snow will be along kind of the coastal areas here. We'll be seeing that heaviest snow along the coast here. Kind of be like a gale 2.0, except affecting a lot more people, like even the Mid-Atlantic here. Of course, gale only affected kind of these areas here. However, this will affect all of these areas here, all the way to Georgia. We're talking some very heavy snow across these regions. But let's go ahead and take a look now at what we have for the radar. So here's like now the HRR and what we're going to be expecting the next few hours here. So this is 5 hours out. We're going to see that main system here bring some very heavy rain here across areas like Kansas City. They're going to be a very rainy day. St. Louis, Columbia. We got the low pressure, of course, right here in the dead center of all this precipitation there. Many of these areas will be above freezing. But as we now get into the evening hours, this cold air and the below freezing temperatures will rush in from the north here. And this is going to help allow for that northern precipitation to start converting into frozen precipitation, like rain, freezing rain, like snow there. And that's just going to blow up here by the next 8 hours here. The next 8 hours, we are talking here around 9-ish or maybe even 8 Central Time here. Extremely heavy snow across areas like Indianapolis, Chicago, South Bend, Fort Wayne, as well even Milwaukee, Madison. Going to be seeing some very heavy snow. But look, all that rain is going to be to the western and southern portion of that low pressure there, because this is going to be all that cold air. All that cold air is coming from that big high pressure, the big Arctic blast is bringing all this cold air that cold, dry air here, but that low pressure is going to help moisturize that atmosphere, which is going to help allow for some very heavy snow here. Much of the snow will actually be quite wet, but I wouldn't doubt more north you go, the kind of the less wet that snow will be, kind of dry, that dry, fluffy snow there that we don't really like because you can't really make snowballs there. But now getting into now early tomorrow morning there, around 1 a.m. Into midnight, that snow will arrive into Columbus. That snow will continue for Indianapolis, push to the north, getting near Detroit, continue to get near Lansing as well. That snow is continuing to Des Moines, continuing to Chicago, continuing for Madison, Wisconsin, and going to go all the way into areas like Green Bay here. And then, of course, the HRR can only go 18 hours out. And 18 hours out from now, that snow is still for Columbus. It's going to continue for Charleston, West Virginia, Roanoke as well, Pittsburgh as well. Start getting that snow for Detroit. It will end by tomorrow morning for Indianapolis. It will end on Springfield, and we are going to be seeing a very a dry end of this system here. High pressure all the way up here there. Bring that cold air. So we're going to be seeing very dry, as that low pressure moves eastward into the south near the mid-Atlantic, we'll have a very dry back end. So a lot of the snow after this main low pressure moves out will be quite dry and fluffy. So here's looking at the NAM3 kilometer here. Since the HRR only goes 18 hours out, it really won't show anything for the northeast. But let's go into the NAM. So the next 24 hours from now, that snow is going to really become a big threat here, just 24 hours from now. But into the next 20 hours, that snow is going to be a big time threat. There you see that big time, very heavy snow. It's going to be very wet, heavy snow as that low pressure continues to go up the mid-Atlantic coast here. The thing is, we got a high pressure up here in Canada, a very strong high pressure, which is going to bring it very dry across these areas here. We got reports it's been very dry across the northeast here. So that's why we really won't be seeing any, or that's exactly why we won't be seeing too much snow for areas like Albany, Burlington. Really, most of the snow will be along the coast where you have all that precipitation and that moisture. And of course, the only reason why we will get snow across Albany is because this low pressure will loop around here, which is going to give a chance for snow to go as far north, but it really won't be much. So that snow is continuing down to tomorrow at this time here, tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, across the mid-Atlantic into DC. Of course, continuing to Ohio, but there you see that low pressure kind of loops back. You can kind of see it kind of looping back. You can kind of see that moisture is now moving a little bit out to the west here. It's going to continue to bring some more snow for Columbus. So if this weren't, it's low pressure, we're just doing a regular, kind of like regular track along the east coast, this will bring in a lot less snow than it's going to bring now, because it's going to bring in a lot more moisture. It's going to be over these areas a lot longer than it should be. And there you see that moisture is moving westward. You can kind of see it's moving westward. So now going to get that snow, even some more snow for Columbus. Almost like the whole state of Ohio would get snow at the same time here. A lot of snow there getting to Lexington, getting to West Virginia, Detroit, Erie, Pennsylvania. Again, these areas will get snow, like Buffalo, Albany, Syracuse, because this thing loops backwards. However, it's going to be limited towards the actual eastern coast here by Monday here. Extremely heavy snow there across New York City there, Long Island, Upper New Jersey, the whole state of Connecticut, the whole state of Rhode Island, Providence there, almost the whole state of Pennsylvania there as well. So it seems on the back end of the system here with that incoming low pressure and incoming moisture left in that low pressure there as it continues to loop around. But at that point, then it'll also continue now to kind of loop around this way and bring some more snow across areas like West Virginia, Virginia. But look how heavy that snow is getting there for New York City there. This will be an absolute massive coastal event here. I mean, look at that. Look how heavy that snow will be across areas like New York City. This could be, this may bring more snow for New York City than it brought for Gale here, which is kind of weird to think about. Gale brought around 10 inches in downtown, I believe, in Times Square and in the, and near the Times Square there. I think that's where we got 10 inches there reported. But look at this, how heavy the snow will continue there for areas like New York City there. It's going to be a big coastal event for Long Island, a big coastal event for New Jersey, a quite significant coastal event for Virginia, quite a significant coastal event for Delaware and Maryland. So really, obviously, it will be significant for these areas here. However, it's going to be more significant where that snow will be very heavy across the mid-Atlantic coast here. So it won't be gale like, it won't be like 2 feet of snow near Boston or anything like that. However, it will bring in extreme amounts of snow across these areas here that we have not seen in quite a while other than gale. So here's looking now at the HRR. Well, of course, it only goes 18 hours out, so it's half these totals are a lot less than they actually would be. But this is what we can expect by the next 18 hours here. So expecting around 7 to 9 inches of snow in the next 18 hours there across Chicago, around 4 to 5 inches across southern Wisconsin there, including Milwaukee. Actually, we will be seeing some very heavy snow off that lake, and maybe see a little bit of lake effect snow that can bring in additional snow across Milwaukee there. Around half foot or more there, of course, Wisconsin there. Could see an additional few inches across eastern Iowa, portions of Minnesota. But this is where we're seeing that very heavy snow here. Could be quite a significant storm for Indianapolis there. May see up to 4 to even 8 inches of snow across areas like Indianapolis in the next 18 hours there. May see around a half foot or more just north of Indianapolis, where we have those warnings there. In the next 18 hours, 3 to maybe even 4 inches across Columbus. May get even a half foot near Dayton. Could be a big storm for Dayton in the next 18 hours here. But let's now go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be seeing for the ARRR. So the ARRR goes 60 hours out. So this is what they have for the whole storm. Look how big this is, though. Look how massive this storm is. All the way from Minnesota there to the Dakotas, all the way up to the New England coast there. But look at that. They get up to potential heavy snow, specifically on the coast there near Milwaukee there, up to over half foot, and that's exactly why those warnings are there. But Madison there getting around a half foot, Milwaukee getting near a foot, Chicago going to get near a foot there, Rockford a half foot, Indianapolis around maybe 3 to 5 inches, Columbus dead center there, maybe over a foot there according to this. Cleveland may get around 3 to 4 inches. Detroit may get 1 to 3 inches of snow. Cincinnati may even get maybe 4 inches of snowfall. And you got obviously Asheville may get some snow there, of course. Roanoke may get half foot or more. DC, the country capital, may get over half foot of snow. You got Baltimore, you got Indianapolis, you got Salisbury. Obviously, you got State College, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, New York City, New York, Atlantic City, Islip, you got New Haven, you got Hartford, you got all these big cities there. They're going to get heavy snow. Look at that. Pennsylvania, some scattered areas may get over 2 feet of snow near State College there. Of course, look at that big mid-Atlantic storm here, possibly over half foot across areas like Salisbury, Baltimore, Annapolis. And look at New York City. Look at New York City, over 15 inches of snowfall here. That is an absolute massive storm here. We're going to be seeing over a half foot from the system all the way from Wisconsin all the way to Connecticut. Again, this storm, it's still going to last more than 60 hours, so that's actually not the whole totals here. But here's the European here, so you can get a better idea of what what we're actually going to be seeing to see in these areas here. But look at that, 10 inches there for Chicago. This will be the back-to-back storm for Chicago that brings over half foot of snow here. Indianapolis around a half foot, maybe 6 to 8 inches according to the European. Over half foot across areas in upper Indiana and upper Illinois, maybe near 7 inches or more in Milwaukee. 3 inches there for Detroit, up to 8 to 10 inches there for areas like Columbus. May get as well even a few inches there near Cincinnati and Lexington. But look at DC. They have done nothing but increase the total for DC, now getting up to 8 inches of snow according to the GFS or the European. Up to maybe 3 to 4 inches there for Richmond. Maybe even get half foot or more near Dover, near Wilmington. Up to maybe 15 plus inches for Philadelphia. So this can be a very similar gale-like storm here. Obviously, Gale didn't bring 15 inches. I believe it brought 6. But this is exactly what Gale's supposed to do, bring 15 inches, but then it slowly decreased. So could this actually happen? Could this be a redemption for a Gale here? 13 plus inches for New York City there, 10 inches there, of course, in the metro area, only around half foot for Albany there. But look, notice how these areas in the Adirondacks are going to get a lot less snow. They will get snow, however, it's going to be more of the coastal areas here. Obviously, Pennsylvania isn't coastal, but, it's not too far from the coast there, from the tip there of the Delaware River to the actual coast here. But I guess the closer you are to the coast, the heavier the snow you can get, unless you're in the mountains there in eastern PA, or of course the Appalachians there in West Virginia. But that's what we have so for the European. And then last but not least, a look now at the deep northeast, up to 17 inches or even 2 feet of snow across portions of the coastal New Jersey, guys. Coastal New Jersey. Over 5 inches maybe near Atlantic City. Atlantic City's actual annual snowfall is 13.1 inches. So we may get half of that in just one snowstorm here. Up to 18 inches according to for Philadelphia, according to the European here. Up to near a foot near Boston. I mean, look, we're seeing almost the whole northeast, including the coast, to get possibly over 4, even more than half a foot of snow. even like Burlington, half foot, even Montpelier, half foot, even Mount Washington, a foot of snow. Look at coastal Maine, half foot of snow or more. So we're talking millions of people. You got Boston, you got Providence, you got Newport, you got Hartford, New Haven, New York City. Obviously, you got New York, Long Island, Philadelphia. Actually, that's not Philadelphia. You got Philadelphia, Wilmington, Dover, D.C., Baltimore. You got Alexandria, of course. You got PA. You got Pittsburgh, PA, State College, Albany. You got Pittsfield. You got Worcester. You got Concord. You got Berlin. You got Mount Washington. You got Portland, of course. You got Bangor. I mean, we're talking some pretty significant cities here that are going to get over half foot of snow here. So definitely something to keep in mind. It's going to be an absolute massive system. Although it won't be historic, it'll be a once in a blue moon, or maybe once in 5 years that this actually happens. A storm, not this significant in the Northeast, but this widespread from Minnesota to Maine, where we see a 2,000-mile path of over half foot of snow. And especially on a Groundhog Day, this will be an absolute nightmare here. Definitely looks like winter may stay for a lot longer based on this. It's absolutely crazy here. So going to be a very, very snowy here. And I do believe that they actually do the groundhog thing in Pennsylvania. I actually not exactly sure. I think they do it in Pennsylvania. So could it actually be snowing? Could there be snow on the ground and even snowing when they do that announcement? That will be interesting here. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll post again later this evening.